It is with great pleasure that I join you today during this 11th Executive Education graduation ceremony of the Strathmore Business School, Strathmore University. I bring you greetings from my colleagues, the governors, and also from my colleagues in Turkana County. Let me begin by congratulating all the 312 executive graduates from the 4 programs for your resilience, perseverance, and diligence in the pursuit of scholarly excellence. It is indeed an honor to join the university and invited guests, your families and friends, to celebrate your achievements. I understand the commitment and sacrifice that you have put in to make this day a reality, having been a student and a graduate of this university, and at the same time juggling this with a busy professional career. I want to tell you, you are not alone. I've also been through this similar journey. And mine began in 2014 when I enrolled as a graduate, as a student of MBA modular program here until I graduated on June 30th last year. It was a very tough journey for me, jungling between being the first governor of Turkana, setting up the Devolution units, at the same time also towards the very end, becoming the chairman of the council at a particular critical time when the health personnel were on strike, the nurses and the clinical officers. But that strengthened me, and I was able, just as you, to graduate on time and to attend more than 80% of the classes. And also to do all my assignments. So you are not alone. I think this institution has molded not only you, but it has also molded me to become a much better public servant. But I'm also glad that 2 of my colleagues felt challenged. The governor of Nanok, the governor of Samburu, they are students here doing the Masters in Public Policy. As you graduate today, I do believe you have acquired the Strathmore values, excellence and justice. The motto of the university, that all may be one, conforms with the theme of my speech today of collaboration for sustainable growth. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 changed our governance structure in the country. It saw the creation of county governments as administrative structures in the country, a national government, independent judiciary, parliament, and independent constitutional bodies. The spirit of devolution in our constitution was to ensure efficient and effective service delivery to Kenyans, while both the national and county governments retained their distinctness, but expected to conduct their affairs in a consultative and collaborative manner. The collaboration and consultation was envisioned to ensure that policies and legislations take a citizen-centered approach by forging strong partnership between the people, the public, and the private sectors to enhance service delivery and improve the standards of living for all the citizens. Many of you that know that the country has gone through the first phase of implementing this constitution, and particularly implementing devolution. You're very much aware that always when there is a change, particularly that is affecting the way we've been governing the various sectors of our country for over 50 years, that change is always not easy. There will always be those who want to pull it back. So essentially, the first phase was a tough experience for devolved units and also for the national government, as each institution tried to define their functionality, tried to define their powers, some of them losing powers and resisting what they lost, some of them losing resources, and that you also saw that among the Council of Governors and the rest of the national government, that we had a lot of fights that involved around sharing the national cake, ensuring that a sufficient amount goes for service delivery, but also fighting over legislations that we felt was trying to reverse the gains that the Constitution had provided. Nevertheless, we've moved over to the second phase of devolution with the last election. And what has this new phase brought? The tempers have gone down. We have learned more what is our roles, be it at the national level, be it at the county level, be it in the parliament, be it in the local legislatures. We've learned what is our role. We've got an intermix of personnel. For the first time, 3 women have been elected as governors. In the same strand, 4 former cabinet secretaries have moved to become governors. Same thing has happened from the Senate and from the National Assembly, and same thing has happened with former governors who've become cabinet secretaries and have taken up other roles. So this is the beginning of experiences, and each level of government now beginning to understand each other. And that's why when I continued in my role as a chair, we've been able to bring the tempers down, and we are much more focusing on better cordial relationships and resolving issues amicably. And I think that is the focus of the second phase. But I must admit, and I must thank the Kenyan judiciary for standing firm to the Constitution and for being able, for the time issues have been brought to them, to interpret the Constitution in the right way. I was just whispering to the Dean a while ago that 19 bills, acts of parliament that had been approved, which were in contravention of the Constitution, the judiciary was able to reverse those bills and to the advantage of devolution. They were able to reverse 17 out of 19, which to me was very, very positive. But over this period, we have also faced challenges. Challenges of financing have always been there, delayed disbursement of funds. As you know, that of the taxes levied on the citizenry, 85% is being collected nationally by the Kenya Revenue Authority. And it is only an amount of 15% of levies that counties are collecting directly themselves. So the dependency of the devolved unit still on the center continues to be very high. So any disbursement delays, as we are experiencing now, any mismatch in allocations vis-a-vis the huge responsibilities for service delivery that have been provided to county governments will, of course, affect mwananchi, whom we are supposed to be serving. And this has been the critical challenge and has been the critical point of diversion with our colleagues in national government. And I think the professor from Germany will tell you this is not only new to Kenya, because always subnational governments and the national government will always struggle on who takes the bigger cake. We're experiencing it here, and I hope that we will still be able to surmount those challenges. But I think critical, and I think it's good to point this one out in an institution of research and policy, is the talk about population, the talk about family planning, the talk about resource allocation. Right now, Kenyan resources allocation is based on the numbers of population. This is what we in government are allocating resources, number one, as a priority. This is what the country is also allocating elective seats on the basis of numbers, population. Then the dichotomy is here. how do we solve the population explosion problem? How do we discuss family planning in light of policies that are focusing on allocating resources based on the numbers within your region, within your county? I think that is a challenge that I will pose to research institutions and policymakers, to come up with ways and means of how the country can be able to move away. Because the moment you say this is the way we are allocating, then politicians, me also being part of that, will always tell people to give birth to more children so that the region you come from can be allocated more resources. I think we've got a challenge here that we need to define other parameters of how we can be able to allocate resources so that we don't have this race against allocating resources based on population, yet the resources available to government cannot be able to match a very fast-growing population as we are witnessing in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, national and county governments have continued to partner despite the economic and the intergovernmental handles that we continue to face. I am delighted to report that county governments have embraced the Big Four agenda and sustainable development goals, which have been streamlined in the 5-year county integrated development plans for each county, and which is primarily focused on how we can be able to improve our productivity at the very grassroots levels. Further, the county governments are committed to enhance the business environment for the business sector and has since 2013 engaged in multiple public-private partnerships. To be specific to the county where I come in, we've developed our county integrated development plans through a stakeholder consultation exercise, with the public inputting it. We've also improved relations with our neighbors, particularly as Turkana neighbors 3 international counties. It's the only county that neighbors 3 international countries: Uganda, Ethiopia, South Sudan at the same time. So we've tried as much as possible to improve. We've tried as much as possible to open business routes. Some of them are functioning, some of them are in the progress of being made to function. We've improved relations with development partners, particularly the United Nations, being the only county that has developed a delivery as one program with the UN family, but also the only county you may not have had disagreements between the national government and the county government officials in the county. We've had very good collaboration on that partnership. But of course, with the private sector, although I want to admit that the private sector in Turkana is still very, very local, we are still on the road to get more partnerships to be able to take advantage of the huge opportunities that exist there. Ladies and gentlemen, Strathmore University has long been recognized as a trailblazer in the engagement of stakeholders and partners to ensure that the spirit and vision of the university is achieved. In the recent past, the university organized the 6th Small and Medium Enterprises Conference, an expo themed enhancing SME sustainability through innovation. The conference and expo was an important avenue that provided a platform for government and business to discuss issues affecting the sector. I might regret that although we weren't able to attend this because of so many other issues that were crowding our calendar, I do share some of the views which the Dean has presented here, that indeed SMEs stand to be the largest grouping that can be able to propel this economy is fully supported. We in the county governments see that. We in the county governments are trying as much as possible to provide support to SMEs who are county-based, But of course, we face challenges. At the moment, we have a huge bill to our suppliers who form the bulk of the SMEs because of financial inabilities and slow disbursement of funds. But we have prioritized it as a matter we need to sort out in the next couple of months by prioritizing the payments to these SMEs. I would like to urge the university, together with other stakeholders, to share the resolutions of this conference to enable county governments discuss the issues that emerged from the conference for their action. And we do hope that in the next devolution conference coming up in early March next year, that we will incorporate policy and research institutions so that we will be able to gain from the researches and the policy recommendations that they have developed, so that it enables us in the council to be able to begin incorporating some of the recommendations that will be emerging from the research and institutions in policy making at the county levels. Further, I would like to urge the organizers of the next 7th conference to include the Council of Governors in the planning and execution to enable county governments participate effectively. SMEs development and support is a devolved function in our dispensation, and counties are committed to support its growth and sustainability. This has seen some counties partner with UNDP to start Biashara centers to offer financial and entrepreneurial education to youth and women beginners in entrepreneurship. Another yet medium for the collaboration utilized by the county governments is our commitment in the development and growth of our economy. To achieve this, county regional economic blocs were formulated to galvanize opportunities within the regions, broaden synergies for resource mobilization for development, and expand trade and investments. Regional economic blocs are strategic mechanisms for speeding up equitable rural economic development, fulcrum for resource mobilization and harnessing of peace and cohesion, nurture partnerships, and help drive growth. Many of these blocks, there are about 5 or 6 blocks now, many of them are still at their formative stages, still struggling with putting down the legal frameworks, and we hope that coming in a couple of months that these legal frameworks will be in place and they will begin operating. I'm also glad that the national government has seen the need to go the direction of supporting regional economic blocs, and we hope that more and more resources moving forward are going to be allocated. And I also urge institutions like Strathmore University to support this effort. We grow this effort together. And I know that if we grow the efforts in the counties, you also grow as an institution that has a lot of strength in business, but also a lot of strength in many other fields. I would like to urge the university to support the blocks with applied research to enable them achieve their full potential. The block presents an opportunity for the member counties to support the SMEs to access both domestic and international markets. The regional economic blocks are planning to harness shared resources like finances, skills, equipment and infrastructure, and backward linkages with the special economic zone to increase productivity in their regions. I must commend the university for all efforts made towards fostering entrepreneurship amongst its students. The 2017 Strathmore Graduate Exit Survey identified that 70% of the graduates sought to establish or have already established personal startups, a fact that challenges both the national and county governments to create an enabling environment for the growth and development of small and medium enterprises. Therefore, the Strathmore Business School is crucial for various innovations that are bound to propel the county's development agenda. In addition, graduates from the healthcare management program are expected to fill the gaps plaguing the country's service delivery in the health sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot understate the importance of collaborative partnership in leadership, both in a non-profit, in the non-profit and public sectors. My leadership path, and especially my tenure as the chair of the Council of Governors and also the Governor of Turkana, has led me to comprehend the necessity of mutual beneficial partnerships across all sectors and spheres of life. In an increasingly complex and interconnected global economy, we cannot adopt isolationist policies and remain oblivious of the progress made around the world. The documentation of best practices in the county governments through the Council of Governors Maarifa Center is a key step taken to ensure that key impacts and successes of the interventions by stakeholders in the country's development agenda are retained and used as a baseline for future engagements with the county governments. I therefore all the graduates today to apply what they have learned here to improve the institutions they work for. Those who work for public sector have a more greater responsibility to bring that synergy that the professors here have impacted on them. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I commend the journey taken by all Strathmore University stakeholders in making this day a success. After your graduation today, you join me and many others, many hundred others, into the alumni team of this institution. We all owe this institution the responsibility of practicing what it has taught us. I appreciate the invitation to impart more lessons on the need for collaborative partnership, building, and retention. I take this very early opportunity to wish you happy holidays, a happy new year, and all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you, and God bless you all.